All real-life apprentices of Donald Trump are issued the following: a BlackBerry phone, a high-quality pen, and a stock of surgical gloves. Surgical gloves, what's this all about? Now, you would think that this would be a safeguard against putting fingerprints on incriminating documents, but it's not that. You would think it could be the fact that his associates travel worldwide and get into unsanitary conditions and need gloves, but it's not that. You see, Donald Trump is a germaphobe. And one of the things he finds is that handshakes are barbaric. But what's ironic about that characteristic is that, as you know, Trump is the author of a best-selling book called The Art of the Deal. And what is symbolic of a deal but a handshake? Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished judges, the subject of my presentation today is handshakes. As much a part of the American culture as hot dogs, apple pies, and overspending on your credit cards. But handshake is not just an American custom, it's a worldwide ritual. From the fjords of Finland to the fantasies of Fiji and the fantasies of Pflugerville. Handshakes are used for meeting, greeting, offering congratulations, coming to an agreement on something, very much a part of worldwide culture. Think about some of the things that have been sealed by a handshake. International treaties, mega-million-dollar business deals, and actually wedding prenuptials. And when I think about my past, I said, you know, really what I missed with my ex-wife was a meaningful handshake. Now, I know there's some divorcees out there. Did you miss a meaningful handshake with your ex-spouse? You know, handshakes are something that parents teach their children about at a very young age, especially dads. Can you imagine this conversation between a dad and a child? Son, last week we talked about sex. Tonight we're going to have a man-to-man about handshakes. There's also another phenomenon that happens, and that is this conversation. Susie, my boss is coming over to dinner tonight, and when he gets here, give him a firm handshake and look right in his eye as you do it. That'll make a good first impression. You know, handshakes, we're very experienced at this thing. Do you realize by the time someone's 50, they've shaken hands about 100,000 times? And I actually think that's conservative. Heck, I've been to Polish weddings where in one night I've pressed the flesh that many times. So I'd like to discuss with you 3 different types of handshakes. And I'd like you to pay very close attention, because if you exhibit any one of these 3 characteristics, you could either A, have trouble making friends going forward, or B, it could really slow down your business career. So the first of these handshakes is the crusher. Now we all know the crusher. Now these people take great delight in putting a vice-like grip on your hand and watching you fall to your knees in agony. Something like this. Now, there are certain professions that actually run away from all handshakes, but especially to a known crusher. Professional golfers, I mean, they don't want to shake hands with a crusher. Musicians, piano players, and then surgeons. Can you imagine having a loved one on an operating table for the most delicate of brain surgeries? The surgeon on his way to the operating suite to do the procedure, and then he runs into the most grateful patient who squeezes the life out of this poor surgeon's hand, rendering it numb and unfunctioning. The second type of handshake I'd like to discuss is the limp fish. Now, this is particularly annoying to people, the limp fish. You know, it's true that women, and actually many men, really do not like taking a wet, slimy fish off a fish hook. So it goes without saying that someone would not appreciate shaking hands with someone who feels like a fish. It reminds me of a situation once when I had a job, interviewing a candidate for a job, and I really had high hopes for this individual. Had an open territory, really needed to get filled. But when I shook this gentleman's hand, it was like I was shaking hands with a catfish who had been caught several hours ago and was chilling on ice. After that handshake, he was as unattractive as a candidate as Charlie the Tuna is to Starkiss. Now, it's a biological fact that some people perspire more than others and sweat more than others, and that brings about the third type of handshake, the perspirer. Now, you don't have to raise your hand, but undoubtedly there's some people in here that worry about that condition. But take hope. There is a solution for you on that. What experts say is that you've got to keep your palms up and open. You've got to let air circulate. You can't clench your fist and get friction and temperature going on with your hand. So can you envision someone going to a very important job interview, realizing they're a perspirer, and walking to that interview, portfolio under the left arm? It's a scary situation. A version of the perspirer is the I went to the bathroom, washed my hands, and they're still wet handshake. Now, we've all been there. We dutifully go to the bathroom, wash our hands, and then they're out of towel. The air dryer doesn't work, or we're in a big hurry. So what invariably happens is you come out of the restroom, and sure enough, your good friend is coming towards you, offers their hand in a handshake, and you've got no solution. So what I've found in that situation is just fess up. You know, my hands may be wet, but they are clean. There's one last handshake situation that tops them all, especially when people are watching. And I'd like to describe this scenario to you. You're at a convention, a business convention, and you've been waiting all day for your key customer. Finally, that key customer arrives. He's walking towards you. You're gathering your courage and composure. Just as you're about ready to shake hands with him, he gets a cell phone call and walks away. You're left with that hand extended and your voice going, Mr. Saunders, it was so... That's the worst kind of handshake. Mr. Contact. Yeah.